On today's episode of Locked On Avalanche, stop me if you've heard this one before, Kyle. Never count this team out of it. But why am I not super happy about this win? New episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for tuning in and making this your first listen of the day. That is always appreciated. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. And if you want to get in on the action with Locked On Avalanche, sign up for our subtext. Link to that's in the show notes below. And when you do, you chat with Kyle and I one-on-one, and we get your opinion, everything Avalanche related, which we share on this very show, like we will do a little bit later. We get our subtexters. Is it subtexters or subtextia?
The citizens
from Subtextia.
Yeah, the citizens of Subtextia.
Yeah, so we'll get their input on this. Ended up being a thrilling game between the Avalanche and the Rangers, and the Avs steal this thing in overtime, 3-2. And like I said in the beginning, like I'm happy. I'm excited that they won the game. It was an exciting game, but it was a grind and it was a struggle to get there. And there's a lot to talk about with this game and with this team right now, because it's like you're getting good things and you're getting some things that are still a struggle. But how are you feeling? Are you feeling like me? Like, yeah, awesome that you won. But man, like just watch it. It wasn't that type of game where the Avalanche were doing so much right and we're just getting goalied, and then they finally broke through. It was 2 periods of just frustration for me. And then the third, they finally started kind of doing things better, and it paid off when you pull the goal and you tie it, and then you can go overtime and win it. But your overall thoughts?
My overall thoughts, I kind of feel vindicated if you're watching the Altitude broadcast, because the breakdown that Altitude was carrying for 2 periods of that game was echoing what I was summarizing the Winnipeg loss with. Like, who's going to get angry about losing these games and take that step up? And you just saw just lackadaisical, lethargic, like we talked about the passing. It was atrocious. Like positioning, puck chasing, just there were so many aspects that that's what's so frustrating about this game. Like, it doesn't have to be a grind. And Chris, before we recorded yesterday's episode, I said after we got done recording, they're probably going to drop this game to the Rangers because just that nature of the Avalanche as of late. Like, other than that Minnesota game, and in hindsight, maybe injuries did come into play for that Minnesota team, because the Avalanche just have been playing Chicago, Winnipeg, and this beginning of the Ranger game. There's no excitement, there's no urgency, and there's no will to win. They just expect to win. And when it doesn't happen, everybody's just kind of looking around, figuring out who's going to step up, and nobody wants to take that next step. And you saw that at the end in desperation. But again, it doesn't have to be that way.
I mean, there's moments of excitement. You know, you started the game well, like you got a goal pretty early, and you know that's what you want to do. You want to get that first goal, and then yeah, man, I just look at them as like kind of, God, I want to say like going through the motions, but it's not like they're doing it lethargically. It's not like they're not putting in the effort. I will go back and always say, like, I never feel like this Avalanche team is not putting in the effort. But I love what you said about like they just expect to win. I don't want to go that far, but I'll say it as like they expect their talent at the end of the game to win out.
Yeah.
And it kind of did in this game. So they're kind of, you know, like we can sit here and say that and not like it to watch it like that. But it's like when they have to kick it into high gear, they do. I don't like that, because I would much rather that Winnipeg game that they won, that like, you know, the full 60. Everyone always uses that term, play a full 60, and that's what you want every team to do. And again, while I feel like the Avs they put in the effort the whole game, maybe sometimes they're just going the speed limit, and they're not they're not testing, driving a little bit over the speed limit at times. And I don't know. I don't want to sound negative because it's a win. A win is a win, and it's 2 points, and it's a big 2 points, and you battled. And that's the other part of this is, let's not give credit to the Rangers because they're a team that is fighting for their season. And I thought they played a really good game for the entirety of this game. They played a really, really good game. And it's just one of those things where, the goalie gets pulled, you have an extra man on. For the Avs, that's meant nothing lately. But they found a way to get that late goal. So if you're a Ranger fan, you have to you got the loser point, but you must be thinking big deal, because I thought the Rangers played a really good game and I give them a lot of credit. But from an Avalanche standpoint, it's who's during the middle stages of a game, you got to take it over. And I didn't really feel like they were in the positions to really just win it out and you impose your will on them. It just didn't seem like it was happening.
And to both of your points, the Rangers, and this kind of echoes what we were talking about yesterday. This win meant more to the Rangers than the Avalanche, and it showed in the effort. And the thing with the Avalanche, you said they're just they're not really coasting, but they're not really giving it their all. It's because you see whenever things go bad, whenever there's a bad puck, whenever there's, hey, by the way, power play still stinks and it's getting worse. Whenever those moments happen, you don't see that guy taking over. You just see a lot of looking to their line mates and saying, come on, guys. Everybody's trying to push everybody else, but nobody's taking it over. So the sparks are there, just it's not engaging.
Igniting.
The motor's not going. So you see it bothers them. They know the power play is atrocious. The effort's just not there, and they expect to play at a higher level. They just expect everybody to play at a higher level and don't take that ownership on themselves and say, okay, like Nathan MacKinnon, I'm going to take this puck, I'm going to go 200 feet, and I'm going to put this in, and we're going to rest a little bit.
And I thought I texted a buddy of mine who's a Rangers fan, and I'm like, dude, MacKinnon is dialed in tonight, from the beginning parts of the first period. But you saw, you said something to the effect of when things change for this team, who's the one that's going to break them out of the funk of a game? Because hockey games have ebbs and flows, and the ice gets tilted and shifted, and who's going to take that back? And you saw it, man. When the Rangers got that shorthanded goal, everything changed from that moment on until the third period, where the Avs started flying a little bit more. And you don't see that typically. And I think a lot of it was the Rangers being like, okay, we got that one back. It's a shorthanded. That always galvanizes a team. And they just started clicking. And I don't want to sit here and say the Avalanche just, oh man, we gave up a shorthanded goal. Just not our night tonight, guys. No, they're not doing that. But the Rangers just kicked it into high gear after that and just made everything for the Avalanche a struggle, big struggle.
You could see in Jared Bednar's face how much that shorthanded goal was demoralizing and embarrassing to a certain level. And after that, it was close to the end of that second period when that happened, because in the third, that's when he rolled out the top line of Nathan MacKinnon, Jonathan Drouin, and Artturi Lehkonen. Dropped Mikko to that second line. He was trying to change some things up because the vibes weren't there and nobody was stepping up. And eventually he had to shake it up to get something going. And he at that moment, you're correct. That was Bednar saying, enough is enough. Let's do what we have to do. Granted, it took to under 20 seconds in the third for Lehkonen to do what he does, and Taser to put it home. And again, those aren't your super big marquee names. You're still getting it from Lehkonen and Taze, but hey, a win's a win.
It is. And, the thing that I just really stood out to me in the first couple of periods was just the frustration to generate scoring opportunities. They're gaining the zone, and but it's you didn't really see a lot of extended time in the offensive zone for the Avalanche. And you didn't really see
still
a lot, and that's fine. I mean, if they're pressuring you, you're going to dump and chase, and then it's all just go win the battle against the boards. And then if you can win that battle, then you start doing your cycle and all that stuff. But it just wasn't happening for the Avalanche. Like that, you were gaining the zone, but you couldn't keep the puck in the offensive zone. And for those few opportunities that you did, you never got a good look. And I feel like that's been happening the past few games for the Avs. So is it the teams you're going up against just defensively are sound? Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure it's a combination of everything. It's not just a singular thing for the Avs, but they just were struggling to find shots on goal. And for someone like Shesterkin, that's just, you're just giving him a vacation back there. So that to me is a frustrating thing, that for a team built on, speed, offensive capabilities, it's hit a little bit of a wall. But again, like, you just fast forward to the end, like in that third period, like that's more Avalanche hockey to me. And you want to see that fighting, that scrapping and clawing for all three periods. I don't know if the funny thing is that I don't know if they don't want to play that way because they don't want to hang their goalie out to dry because you're pressing a lot because you're down, but you were doing that anyway. Like, how many breakaways did the Rangers have in this game?
6.
Like, was it
6?
That seems low to me.
It was
So,
6 odd man chances.
I'm sure it was, but it just seemed like all the time the Rangers were just having these breakaways. And, that shorthanded goal was just a microcosm of what was to come from this game for the Rangers. Breakaway after breakaway after breakaway. And Mackenzie Blackwood is just like not having it.
And I also, before we talk about Blackwood after the break, I have one stat I need to throw out to kind of give some credence to this discussion right here.
So let's do that. Let's get our first break in. More to talk about with this Avalanche win in overtime against the Rangers. And we have our subtext people and, of course, our sound check to get to. So we'll do all that right after this. All right, let's hear from Game Time. And we love going to live events, just like if you were at that game right there. It was a great ending. So whether it's sports, music, theater, or comedy, some of our favorite memories are attending concerts, and the energy and the excitement, just like you saw in Ball Arena, are unforgettable. And now Game Time has made it even easier to get tickets for your favorite events with their new feature, Game Time Picks. This feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. So again, create the account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today, because what time is it, Mr. Sullivan?
It's game time.
All right, so more to talk about with this game between the Avs and the Rangers. I don't want to spend all three segments I think the first was just airing out the frustrations.
Mm-hmm.
But there was good in this game. But you had a stat you wanted to throw out first, so let's hear what.
Yes. A little stat that Chris and we like to throw out a lot, and it's when it comes to creating chances and gaining momentum, it's the face-off. And Chris, I haven't divulged this to you yet, so I want to just throw this out to you. In this game, I just saw this stat and I did a little bit of research. 37% from the face-off dot. The Avalanche, 37%. So what does that put the Avalanche on the year? Overall, 44.5. You know how good that is? 31. 31. And I know there was that period of time where they won 2 in a row. They called Parker Kelly or Mikko Rantanen for jumping too early in the faceoff dot, the reset, and they won again. It was on a power play. But that was it. If you want to start generating momentum and chances and do something in the offensive zone, or keep the pressure from mounting and the momentum off the other team, you have to start winning the faceoff. And it's a huge problem right now.
Oh yeah, I mean it seems like it's been a problem for the past decade, but I think there was at one point, it was either after the first, I think it was after the first period, it was 75%, 25%.
Yeah,
favor the Rangers. So yeah,
but they are the second best face-off team in the league. So
they're a very good face-off team.
Yeah,
very good face-off team. one of my favorite, I guess, stats, deserve to win-o-meter.
Oh,
Because I'm just over on Money Puck, so it's there. And if it's there, I'm going to bring it up. The Rangers deserve to win this game 58% of the time. Which seems low to me. It never tell me the odds. Yeah, that seems low to me. I feel like the Rangers were in a good position to win this game.
Yeah.
But there were good things that happened for the Avs. Really, from the third period on, good things were happening, and especially in overtime, that penalty kill from the Avs was beautiful. There, it's very, very most. And I don't have a percentage in front of me. I'm just saying this, with no stats to back it up. But it does seem like most times when in overtime, when there's a penalty called and it goes to 4-on-3, it's over.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of preparing myself for that. But that penalty kill was just absolutely exceptional. And those three guys were out there, I think, for all of it. I think the only time they were not out there, they finally got it clear, and Parker Kelly went down and just kind of covered up the puck for a little bit. And then there was only like 10 seconds left. And that's when you got Cale Makar out there. And then, you're back to full strength. That penalty kill was beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. Like Taze in desperation, there was like maybe 20 seconds left of that penalty kill, tried to rim it around the boards, push it to the blue line, and it just skipped over the Rangers stick. And Parker Kelly just kind of pushed it down and just played keep away. I stood up and just gave them a round of applause. Beautiful. That's what you want to see. And
then penalty kill just overall is completely turned the corner. Unfortunately, so has the power play in the other direction. And you even got a late one. Like in my head, I'm like, the Avalanche are going to get. Seems like they've been doing that, is getting late third period power plays. And it just pulls on you because you're like, that's what you want. You're down by a goal, and it's not working for the Avalanche. I don't want to dive too much into that just because we've been talking about it forever. There's nothing else that really needs to be said about it. It just needs to turn the corner. But we have to bring up Mackenzie Blackwood here because he has not let up more than 2 goals that in any start that he has had since he came over here. And he's the reason the Avalanche won this game. Yeah, you can say Artturi Lehkonen with that goal with the goalie pulled, Devon Taves with another overtime winner. Mackenzie Blackwood, after all those breakaways that the Rangers had, even the one in overtime where it's I think it was Zibanejad who was barreling down on him, and he just makes it look like child's
effortless.
Oh my God. So it's amazing to me how long were we saying, like, Kyle, like we just need competent goaling, and Avalanche can score their 3 or 4 goals. They're struggling to get that many, but he is not getting it beyond the 2 that you want from your goalie. Mackenzie Blackwood is, we said it not that long ago, Vezina-esque. It's Connor Hellebuck's trophy to lose this year, but yeah, man, Mackenzie Blackwood is making a case for at least a nomination easily.
And this is the tale of 2 seasons when it comes to the Colorado Avalanche, because we are casually accepting a .931 save percentage. Like what we had to.
I'm not casually accepting that. I am bowing down to that. And
we started maybe the first 3 weeks of the season breaking down save percentages and justifying them like we were trying to resell a car. And these save percentages that you're getting, just we at the beginning of the season, we would have done anything for Georgie to give us a 915. Now you're getting 931 in a potential, like, the momentum was in the Rangers' side, and until Lehkonen and Taze put it away, it could have been a losing effort. This is Mackenzie Blackwood has been incredible, cool, calm, collected. He's the only thing I don't worry about on this team. Like, there are many nights, like, you just got to forget he's back there, and you have zero worries whenever the puck is down there. You're watching everybody else, and now the focus is on them because goalie, and with Wedgwood, whenever he does come back, you feel really good about this tandem.
100%. It is nice to have to be rock solid in goal right now.
We were talking about the century team, quarter century team yesterday.
Yeah.
We keep getting efforts like this. This could be a name that's going to be rocketing up the charts for the Colorado Avalanche for the next quarter century team,
for like the 30-year team or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. He's been phenomenal. So, looking at some stats over on Natural Stat Trick, and oddly enough, like the Avs, like the Corsi here. Let's see. Okay, so they're, because I'm thinking like, hey, it was a struggle, and it was. I think the third period really bailed them out because they outshot the Rangers in terms of Corsi. Now, again, this is all just shots directed towards the net, blocked or otherwise. And their for is 67 and their against is 54. But that just goes to show you how many blocks. The Rangers just seem to be blocking everything in sight. So they're making it difficult for the Avalanche to get pucks on the net. And I think that's just, again, been a theme for the Avalanche lately, because the Avs had 26 shots on goal. So if you had 26 shots on goal and 67 shots directed towards the net, that's a lot of missed shots and a lot of blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's got to get figured out. That's and again, I feel like they're holding onto the puck a little bit too long. There was one shot Mika Zibanejad had that it was almost like he knew that it was almost impossible to score from his angle, but the puck was on his stick for a split second. Yeah, that's the stuff I want to see from the Avs, and they just do maybe a little bit too much passing to get that pretty goal. Too much.
The Avs they'll get the zone, and as soon as they get it and look up and see a clear lane, they'll take that quick shot immediately, and it's of low quality. And or you get the reverse, and they'll cook it in the zone so long the puck expires, and they have to get a new one. Like when they finally take a shot, it misses wide, or it's just a bad dribbler off somebody's knee. Like, the shot selection needs to improve, the quantity as well. Like, the first two periods was extremely low, and the first two power plays you didn't register a shot. So
yeah, and I think I don't jump on guys like too early if they're in like a rut or a funk. I give them time to figure things out. But something's up with Casey Middlestadt.
Yep,
something's definitely up with him, and I'm at that point. Like, I know, like, we hear it from people all the time. Like, you have 2 or 3 bad games in a row, and people are in our inbox like, what's going on with him? Trade him. It just zero patience. I haven't lost patience with Casey Middlestadt, but something is definitely there, and now I think it's just it's in his head. Only 12 minutes and 55 seconds of ice time in this game. And then as far as, for his one line when he was he started the game with Ross Colton and Mikko Rantanen. Their Corsi for percentage, which is, it's basically where the shots are coming from. It's a percentage. So I'll just read it for you. It's 38% as a Corsi for percentage. So what that means is 38% of the times those 3 guys are out on the ice that's how much of the shots are coming from them when they're on the ice. 38%. That's not good.
No.
You compare it to, let's see, Kiviranta, Rantanen, and O'Connor was at 60%. So that, you want, especially a line like that, like Colton, him, and MacKinnon, or Rantanen, that should be completely flipped. That should be in the 60%. To have 38% of the time, you're only getting that many percentage of shots on when you're on the ice. That's not good. And I know that's 3 guys, and they're all, but he's centering that line. So something's up with Middlestadt, and I feel like they're going to give him more time to figure this out, but something's got to change quick.
And see, the thing is, I'm starting to press the Rick and Keel button on Middlestadt a little bit, because if I'm not mistaken, that shorthanded goal was on a turnover from Middlestadt.
No, it was actually a turnover on Makar.
Was he involved in that line?
If he was in front of the goal. He had nothing to do with it. It was Makar just completely flubbed. He went. Okay, Makar had a wide open shot, and he just completely whiffed on the shot. It had nothing
Well,
to do with Middlestadt.
I know that one. I was curious about that one. I know he had a couple other chances where he whiffed on a shot, just had some bad turnovers, bad puck placement. In the Winnipeg game, he had some better placement where I was like, oh, maybe he's working his way back out, but he completely reversed all those efforts. So I think it's between the ears.
Definitely.
But I think everybody knows there's something up and it needs to be addressed.
I mean, the thing with him is like he's such a good puck handler. And that's his bread and butter. And when guys are just stealing the puck right away from you,
Yeah.
Like he's not the type of guy that can just go score a couple goals to get off the rut.
Yeah.
He's going to try to facilitate. That's his game. And when that's not happening, that's like taking goals away from Nathan MacKinnon. But it's very difficult for him right now to figure anything out.
And that moment you're talking about right there where the puck was taken off the tape is because he couldn't make a decision in that split second, that hockey moment where he was deciding a pass, a shot. He was planning it all out. And in that moment of brain freeze, puck goes the other way.
Gripping the stick a little bit too hard is probably what's going on with Casey Middlestadt. So, I mean, I'm rooting for him. I like him. I think he's a good fit for this team, but it's just it's a fight for him right now. So, all right, let's get our last break in, and we come back. We'll hear from our subtext people, and of course, our sound check. We'll get to that next. All right, Indeed. We got Indeed back. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. Now you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support Locked On Avalanche by saying you heard about Indeed on this very podcast. So terms and conditions apply. And if you're hiring, of course, you need Indeed. All right. Subtext people chiming in here. And of course, if you want to get in on this talk and send in your thoughts that we read on the show, just follow that link in the show notes, sign up, and we'll get you in. So let's see. Let's start here with Lisa. Not a pretty win, but it's 2 points. Blackwood was incredible in OT. Cannot say it enough. What a difference good goaltending makes. It's what we've always wanted. It was our Christmas gift, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. It's like the Jelly of the Month Club.
And they got good goaltending now in Washington, so she gets to enjoy good goaltending everywhere.
They got a great tandem over there. Okay, what a finish. Blackwood deserves the win. He was outstanding. Taves is our new overtime killer. Love it. Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't Nichushkin, then it was Lehkonen, and now it seems to be Devon Taves of all people. That's pretty amazing. Pretty blah effort for about 85% of the game, but they found a way to win, and we'll take it. They need every point they can get. Sound check. Joan, I don't know if she mistyped that. Arbitrating. I don't know if that's the right last name, but the name of the song is I'm Lucky.
Is it
I'm
locked? I'm gonna have to look that up.
Here's what I want to ask you, and you can see. I'll interrupt the subtext people right now. You can see it on the third bullet point right there if you're watching on YouTube, and it's kind of a joke why I put it up there because I don't watch ESPN anymore. I think it's just blah programming. But when I did, they loved asking this question, and every time they ask it, I would just bang my head against a wall because it just didn't make any sense. So it's kind of funny why I'm going to ask it and take it for what it's worth. Did the Rangers lose this game or did the Avalanche win it? The classic ESPN question. So,
and I'll give you the answer. If you pull up, if you get your newspaper, and you look at the score, the Avs won. But if you watch this game, the Rangers did allow this game to get away from them. They had the momentum. They honestly kind of buckled under the pressure of sustaining that lead and let Lehkonen get that puck, like with a little bit more poise.
Well,
it's desperation for this team. So you're
Right.
overplaying everything you're doing. So that was a lot of overplay with the goalie pulled. You feel the pressure. The Rangers buckled. It's what they've done all year. They buckled in these situations. So yes, the Rangers let this go, and they've done it many times before. But when you look at the score and you look at the score bug, the Avs did win.
Right. I mean, that goal from Lehkonen, Sturkin's got to collect that puck.
Yeah.
That's just one of the right place, right time, a little bit of luck there for where Lehkonen was. But I thought what the Rangers were doing for the duration of that third period, the Avalanche were coming at you.
Yep.
And they were doing a relatively good job of combating that. And then they were just doing short shifts, gain the center ice, dump the puck in, change. And they were doing it fine. And that, I can't really fault them that much. It's just hey, as much as the Avs got goalied, so did they. Because they only had the 1 goal lead, and it turned out to be clearly not enough. So if you're going, I mean, if you're going up against any other goalie, you have maybe a padded lead here, and you don't have to worry about that goalie. But I thought the Rangers played a fine game, and it's just that's hockey. It's a tough loss for them.
These are the breaks.
That is, yeah. Joe said, "Sweet baby Jesus, Blackwood is a beast." Not sure what was going on before overtime, but they nailed that at least.
Yeah.
Fall Back Down from Rancid is his sound check.
Great band.
You seem like a Rancid fan.
Love Rancid.
Yeah.
Oh,
you seem like, yeah. Lisa, let's see. Two power plays yield, giving up a shorty and another with 0 shots on goal. Is this rock bottom for the
yes,
for the power play?
No shots and a shorthanded. I mean, how much worse can it get?
You saw that graphic that Altitude put up, and it is systematically gone down every month. And right now it's at, what was it, 9.5%? What is February going to be? 5?
I'm pretty sure.
If this trend continues,
they're going to be. There's ECHL teams that are probably better at the power play than the Avalanche.
It is brutal. Heather said, "I only got to see the Lecky goal through OT, but guys didn't disappoint. Love how Keefe said Mackenzie was already at his game high of 2 goals allowed, but no more." Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier. Like it's 2 goals and that's it. That's all you're getting off of him.
Yeah, they were waiting on you, Heather. Thanks for joining us on overtime.
And then let's see, electrician Ziggy. He wrote a lot. I can't read all of this, but so much to say about this game. But the 2 highlights for me were the cocky throwing away the puck from Blackwood in OT after the Zibanejad.
Yeah,
that was. I don't know if he was throwing it away or I don't know who was over there. I think he wanted to extend the play. I don't think he wanted to, because in overtime you don't want to have faceoffs if you can gain the possession. He might have been trying to throw that off to the side, but I'll take the cocky throwaway. Yeah, why not?
I'm curious about his second point because there was also a moment that stood out to me too.
LOC going solo against 2 Rangers in OT, not only managing to maintain control of the puck twice, but making a beautiful pass that ended with him getting the assist of the game-winning goal. Yeah, we didn't mention that. That shift from Logan O'Connor was just what he does and what has turned like Avalanche fans to be a fan favorite. The work ethic from that guy is just constant, and you saw it on that play. It was awesome.
I'd like to give the honorable mention ribbon to Josh Manson as well. Mm-hmm. The first instance of the team having a pulse was him reaching up into the air and grabbing that puck out of the air to keep it in the zone, to keep the play alive. I was like, oh, this team is alive. They could actually try. Like, that was some hustle. I'll give it to him.
That was good. His sound check, he doesn't have one. He said his music is too heavy for us, bro. I gotta have a little talk with Electrician Ziggy because,
well, brother,
we might go a little bit light here, but I could tell you some bands that I listen to that you would be surprised at.
Oh, so wait, Electrician Ziggy's music is too heavy?
That's what he's saying, yeah.
Oh.
Zig, throw it out, man. Throw it out.
Yeah,
Because I almost put some blood incantation on here the other day. If you want to be,
yeah, I used
Yeah.
to throw down in my day. I
Yeah.
aged into a Grateful Dead fan. So.
Put it on. And then finally, our boy Vargar, solid win, but I wish the team started to heat up offensively again. With you there, man. With you there. So, all right. Last thing we got to do is our sound check, where we each pick a song that most summarizes the most recent game, and these songs go on a playlist over on Spotify, which you can follow along. Just search for LOA Soundcheck, volume number 4. So what do you got for this?
In the beginning, back in 1965. No, we're not going to do that song. But there were very few songs in the beginning of time, but there's one. There's one that summarizes this game, and it's a song that I'm ashamed of myself for never inserting into a lockdown sound check. Black Sabbath.
Okay.
Children of the Grave.
Oh, nice pull.
I love one of my favorite bands. Love this song. But no, the Avs were dead. They had nothing, and they rose. The song's about fighting back, and the Avs did show that. So, Children of the Grave by Black Sabbath.
And I think mine could piggyback off of that. So the children have risen up, and they go out and they steal this game from from the Rangers, which is why I'm going with the well-known Jane's Addiction song, "Been Caught Stealing." Been caught stealing. Because this is what they did. This is a stolen game for the Avs, and you get these every once in a while. You're on the opposite end of them every once in a while too during the course of the season. It was ugly. It was frustrating. At times, it was just like, what is going on here? But the beauty of the Colorado Avalanche is they will never give up, and they will. And when you're only down 1, why would you? Why would you throw in the towel? So I
mean, they have a little bit of a look ahead game with Edmonton, that MacKinnon McDavid thing. Everybody likes to drive it to the dirt. Like, that's one of those things that you're like, just get out of here healthy. Let's play them at our best.
Yeah. So overall, 2 points. 2 points in the standings. So, all right, that is going to wrap it up for today, everyone. So thank you for tuning in and making this your first listen of the day. We will be back tomorrow. Probably have some morning leftovers. And there's a Mikko Rantanen rumor floating around out there, which we'll talk about. Because why not? We'll do that tomorrow. So thank you for tuning in, everybody. He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and you just made it through another 24 hours where Sidney Crosby is that much closer to becoming a Colorado Avalanche.
Can he win in a shootout?
Can't even win a faceoff.